I drew in a deep breath, feeling the razor-sharp cold of a South Texas morning cut across my face. Beside me stood Jack, my longtime hunting partner, a man whose eyes are sharper than any scope, giving his rifle one last check. We were ready. I tightened my grip on my rifle, on the handheld GPS screen. The trail we had tracked the night before was clear. A pack of aggressive feral hogs was moving ahead right along this path. Now it all came down to strategy, silence, and the instincts of hunters facing an unforgiving enemy. This wasn't just another hunt. This was a real fight, a fight to protect our land and our people. Who would win? Don't blink. This hunt is about to get intense. For this encounter, I relied on early spotting, finding, and taking the target before it even sensed danger. Using a long-range optic, I swept the hillside. Instantly, I locked onto the first hog, moving at a challenging distance. This was the day's first battle, demanding absolute precision. I adjusted the reticle and squeezed the trigger. The hog bolted, but the bullet won. A quick, clean win, boosting our confidence and proving that long-range control is often the key to dominating the hunt. On the other side, Jack had positioned himself on a rocky overlook exactly as we planned. With the height advantage, he spotted movement below. He fired, but the hog stubbornly ran off. Jack didn't flinch. He reset, watched every twitch in the brush, and when a moment came, boom! One clean, perfect shot. His patience and ability to correct quickly were exactly what sealed that victory. After a string of long-range wins, we pushed deeper into the grasslands. That's when the unexpected happened. A ferocious hog burst out from its hiding spot and charged straight at us. The life or death moment hit in a split second. No time to think, just instinct. I pulled the rifle up and fired. One shot, dropped instantly. That lightning-fast reaction saved both our skins. I exhaled hard. Barely a minute later, another hog erupted from the brush. But Jack had already seen signs of movement from afar. He was ready. One precise bullet, and the hog went down on the spot. The awareness and reflexes of a seasoned hunter working at their finest. I raised my spotting scope, sweeping the surroundings for more targets. This spot was perfect for visibility, ideal for tracking hogs. Years of hunting experience kicked in. Another hog entered my sight line, but the distance was extreme. I opened fire, burst after burst, adjusting continuously. Finally, the hog couldn't escape our control. I let out a long breath. The gunfire had stopped. We had secured safety for the nearby communities once again. Our entire team moved in to collect and process the harvest, documenting everything from the number of hogs taken to the exact hunting zones. Every action we took followed U.S. hunting laws to the letter. Thanks for watching, brothers. Which shot impressed you the most? Drop a comment and let us know. For weeks, a pack of wild boars had been roaming around the fields, tearing up the young corn. Their footprints were stamped along the streams, and mud was scattered across every path. After receiving reports from the local villagers, our hunting team decided to embark on a new mission, but this time, we wouldn't use guns. Instead, we relied on bows and arrows, weapons demanding absolute silence and precision. No explosive sounds shattering the air, only breath, focused eyes, and hearts beating in rhythm with the whispering forest. The only question that remained, could we take down these massive beasts with a single arrow? It was still early when the team stepped into the low forest, where signs of the wild boars from last night were everywhere. I signaled the others to spread out in a horizontal line, stay silent, and move against the wind. When we heard that familiar rustle ahead, I knew a herd was gathering nearby. Everyone quickly took their positions. I drew the bow, aimed low, and released. The arrow flew, true, a perfect opening for morning. A start like this gives the whole day momentum, I thought to myself. After the first shot, the team pressed deeper westward, where the forest opened into a wide meadow. Fresh footprints indicated that prey was still lingering nearby. I positioned 2 people to circle left and 1 at a high vantage point for observation. Before long, a massive shadow entered my line of sight. Without hesitation, I signaled to get ready. An arrow flew from my teammate's bow, clean and precise, taking down the wild boar before it could utter a sound.
But smoked her.
We quickly cleared our first haul to continue the hunt. As we were rearranging our gear, the walkie-talkie suddenly crackled with a signal from the scouting team. Another herd had just appeared to the south, about 300 meters away. Wasting no time, I immediately commanded the team to change direction, moving swiftly toward the new group. As we closed in, I signaled, and my teammate drew the bow taut. The arrow flew silently, embedding itself squarely in the body of a massive boar. Everything happened so cleanly, not a single sound was heard. See, hunting demands precise coordination. When everyone works in sync, everything stays under control.
Oh, you smacked him.
Time quickly moved toward midday, and the swirling winds made aiming the bow far more difficult. I quickly repositioned the team, redistributing our ambush points before any more beasts could appear. Just 10 minutes later, growls echoed from the north. We swiftly pinpointed the location and readied our bows. Calculating the wind direction and the arrow's flight speed was crucial. One misstep, and the prey could slip away. Whiz! The arrow shot forward, instantly neutralizing the target. Sometimes, gauging the wind is even more important than the bow's draw strength. Without a seasoned archer and a clear strategy, pulling off a shot like this in the moment would be nearly impossible. One that while I and a few others were sweeping the area, my support team approached a low-lying patch of land on the opposite side where another group of wild boars had gathered. Without hesitation, one member stepped forward and drew his bow. The moment the prey came into sight, he released the arrow decisively. With the skill of a seasoned hunter, every shot hit its mark. The boar was struck, thrashed in a final struggle, but had no strength left to escape. Everyone seemed completely exhausted after a long, tense day, and it felt like the journey was finally coming to an end. Yet, as we crossed the open meadow, a rustle from the forest's edge caught our attention. I signaled the team to stop, quickly gauging the wind and the hiding spot. A large shadow emerged in the middle of the clearing, probably the last boar that had separated from the herd. I drew my bow, steadied my breath, and released. The arrow flew silently, bringing today's hunt to a clean and decisive close. And so, the journey concluded. Every action took place within authorized areas, strictly following hunting regulations and environmental conservation rules. Each shot was the result of patience, careful calculation, and absolute respect for nature. If you love authentic hunting adventures, make sure to follow us.
There it is.
We had no intention of hunting anything today. It was supposed to be just a simple patrol, checking the trails, and enjoying the fields during harvest season. Then suddenly, the silence was torn apart. Not far from us, a wild boar was rampaging through the crops, destroying everything in its path. We couldn't let a creature this dangerous roam near the camp. One quick phone call, and the entire team was mobilized. This opportunity, or rather this threat, turned our quiet walk into an unavoidable hunt. The tense chase had begun. We arrived at the field immediately. Weapons ready, the team spread out, determined not to let a single aggressive target escape. Then, just as we expected, that familiar dark shadow appeared. I held my breath, loaded my rifle, aimed, and pulled the trigger. Boom! The shadow fell to the ground. It seemed the day had started off well. Don't take your eyes off the screen. Things were about to get even more intense. We began tracking the next target. Beep, beep. Less than 5 minutes later, the tracker sounded continuously. We rushed toward the location where the boar was hiding. From a distance, we could already hear the sound of branches snapping and trees breaking. Facing such a brutal destroyer, I didn't hesitate. Boom! A single bullet was all it took to bring it down. The fields were in danger. Any hesitation would mean greater losses. Every move we made became more urgent and precise. Meanwhile, on another patrol route, Jack suddenly spotted movement. The dark shadow charged forward like an arrow. The tension was unbearable. Seizing the moment, Jack fired. The first shot missed. The boar kept running. But Jack quickly steadied his aim. The second shot hit perfectly. The beast collapsed, restoring calm to the field once again. By afternoon, we received reports that a herd of boars had moved closer toward the village outskirts. We entered the boundary fields, areas that attract the boars with leftover crops, but also serve as perfect traps for our operation. The target appeared. A burst of gunfire echoed through the air. It refused to give up, but luck doesn't strike twice. The next shot finished it. Another decisive victory for us. Rustle. A faint noise from the distance caught our attention. Just as we expected, another boar darted swiftly out from the bushes. There was no time to hesitate. My heart pounded. The pressure was suffocating. If I didn't act fast, it would escape, and the fields would be in danger again. Boom! The bullet found its mark. One perfect shot, clean and precise. A sudden, flawless takedown. What do you think of that shot? Don't forget to share your thoughts with us.
Bravo, yeah.
As the sun began to set, we started heading back toward the village, but our vigilance remained high. Even a single moment of distraction could lead to bitter failure. And just when we thought the day was over, it wasn't. Crossing through a cornfield, another target appeared. A burst of gunfire rang out, cutting off its escape. In the end, victory was ours once again. The boar couldn't withstand the power of our rifles. The exhausting hunt concluded with a truckload of trophies, proof of a hard-fought success. The crops were safe once more. What began as a casual scouting walk had turned into a mission accomplished. Our team exchanged glances, no words were needed. In the outskirts of Texas, where endless fields stretch far into the horizon, the lives of local farmers are being torn apart by the overwhelming presence of wild boars. These beasts don't just tear through cornfields and destroy grazing pastures, they even dare to attack livestock in barns and stables. Facing this growing threat, one familiar name returns. Ethan, a seasoned hunter whose reputation precedes him. Alongside his trusted team, summoned by the local authorities, he sets out to restore order. Armed with modern rifles, GPS trackers, and unshakable determination, Ethan's crew begins their mission at dawn. But the question remains, will this journey bring a clean victory, or will the cunning monsters of the fields turn it into a grueling battle? The team had barely trekked 10 minutes across the grasslands when instinct whispered that danger was near. Ethan caught it first, the pounding rhythm of hooves, growing louder, shaking the very ground beneath their feet. In a flash, a massive herd of boars burst forth, thundering across their path. Ethan wasted no time. He raised his rifle, locked onto the largest brute in the pack, and boom! One clean shot, one instant takedown. The herd scattered in sheer panic, fleeing in all directions. A powerful, precise opening strike, the perfect start to what would be an action-packed hunt. But there was no time to celebrate. The team fanned out, chasing after the chaos. Moments later, a lone boar barreled straight back toward Ethan, desperate to break through the hunter's line. Unfazed, Ethan steadied his aim. The crack of his rifle split the air. The beast froze mid-stride before collapsing in the dirt, never given a second chance. A hulking shadow tore through the grass. The rifle tracked its every frantic move. Then came the sharp, decisive blast. The boar stumbled, slid across the dirt, and dropped lifeless, its desperate escape ending in futility. Pushing further out, the hunters thought they might finally catch a breather. But no, out of nowhere, another boar lunged forward, as if bent on a reckless last stand. Its gamble cost dearly. Under Ethan's unwavering aim, the rifle barked once more. The bullet struck true, dropping the beast instantly where it stood. If you've ever wondered just how fast wild boars can move, this moment says it all. Barely 5 minutes after the last encounter, another ferocious boar stormed into view, its speed terrifying. Ethan fired, the first shot missed. The beast weaved and dodged like it was taunting him. A second shot echoed, but still it darted away. Then came the third, a steady aim, a perfect release. The bullet struck home. The boar staggered, slid through the tall grass, and after a futile struggle, finally succumbed.